Recording in progress.
Good evening and welcome to General Council for November 12th, 2024. We have attendance roll call. Online, I have Elena Van Avery and Leslie Green. I have Amos Key Jr., Carrie Bomberry, Helen Miller, Dale Bomberry, Dean Hill, Cynthia Jameson, Melba Thomas, Hazel Johnson, and Greg Frazier in attendance in the chambers. Identification of media, I don't see any. Before we get started, let's take a moment of silence to honor the community members that we have recently lost. Let's take a moment. No, thank you. Adoption of the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions? If not, with Dale's, is there anything else? If not, can I have a mover? Moved by Melba, seconder by Amos. All in favor? Be opposed? See none, carried. Number 5, delegations. We have Six Nations Polytechnic STEAM Academy. Good evening, Callie. And I see Judy is connecting.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Oh, there's Judy. Good evening, Judy,
Hi.
and welcome. So I'm going to give the floor to you guys. Um, Whoever wants to go first.
Well, maybe we'll start with introductions.
Okay.
My name is Judy Rubin. I'm the director at Six Nations Polytechnic STEAM Academy, the high school, and I have worked there since April of 2019.
And I am Callie Anovich. I'm the development officer at STEAM Academy. I was a teacher for 5 years there since 2018, and then I've just come into this role as a development officer. So it's been 1 year, May to May. It's been a full year. So I'm starting my second year as the development officer, but I've pretty much been here since almost the beginning of STEAM. I just missed that first year.
Okay. Welcome. Welcome to tonight.
And I do expect Riva to be joining us. She's going to attempt to get on.
Yeah, I know she's gonna join in actually from the hospital, so she's having a bit of family stuff. So maybe we'll start without her, and if she pops in,
Yeah.
uh, great. But yeah, Riva Bomberry, our principal, also might come on the call as well.
Okay. So go
And
ahead.
goodbye, Callie.
Okay, so Nyawa for having us. Um, we have some exciting news at STEAM Academy that we would like to share with council. So this is kind of more of an informational session. Am I able to share my screen?
Yes, you can share it.
Okay. Share. Okay. So we Okay, so we here at STEAM Academy, after a lot of time and thinking and deliberating and meeting with various teams within our organization, the higher ups, STEAM Academy, have decided that we are going to change the name of Six Nations Polytechnic STEAM Academy to SNP Secondary School, or Six Nations Polytechnic Secondary School, which is a pretty big move. We've been around for, this is our 7th year. So to totally change a name of a school as we're learning is a ton of work, but we've put a lot of thought into this. We've done a lot of surveys, community outreach, reflection within ourselves, and based on kind of where our school is heading and growing, we think it's a great time to kind of change the name and have a bit more of a generic name that encompasses not just one aspect of our school, but kind of everything that we do as a high school. So just a little bit of background information. Six Nations Polytechnic STEAM Academy, if anybody doesn't know, was the first P-Tech school in Canada. So really, really exciting. Every student originally that came to STEAM Academy was in the P-Tech program. And during the first year of STEAM Academy, all students were in the academic stream. So the name STEAM Academy was a very unique name. It kind of set the school apart, and it did attract some unique funding and support just with, STEM and STEAM being such a kind of buzzword of the 21st century. So as STEAM Academy has grown, we started with just one cohort of grade nines. We had about 25 students. Now we have grade 9, 10, 11s, and 12s. This will be we've had our third year of graduates, having a fourth soon. And now we're at about 115 students. So we're growing, and we have all these kind of unique programming, and STEAM and STEM is just kind of one aspect of our school that doesn't necessarily highlight everything that we do. So as the years have gone on, and we've done more and more outreach within the community, within the elementary schools, we've kind of came up with a lot of reasons for the name change, and these are a few of them. So why did we decide to change the name? It wasn't just kind of out of nowhere. It's been years of kind of collaborating with people and collecting data. So we've been out in the community more. We've had open houses. We've gone to the federal schools open houses. We've been out in the plaza, just having a table there, just trying to talk to as many community members as we can, get our name out there. And we're finding that it's hard for people to distinguish between SNP, the post-secondary side, so the trades, the college, the ongoing language program, and STEAM Academy. So even in the last open house, we had many people come in and say, "Oh, I didn't know SNP had a high school. Oh, I had no idea. I thought SNP was just a post-secondary." Or the flip side of it, just not knowing at all that STEAM Academy kind of is connected to SNP. So we've found anecdotally and through community surveys that there is a bit of confusion about, oh, that our high school actually exists, that we're a part of SNP. It was a little bit confusing for some folks. And then a lack of clarity. So we've noticed that oh, that unless we kind of explain ourselves, it's not immediately clear that we're a high school. So Hagersville Secondary School, McKinnon Park Secondary School. It's very common to have secondary school in the name, and so a lot of people, because they hear academy, they often kind of think it's this kind of highbrow post-secondary institution, when really we are at the end of the day a regular high school. We just have this unique programming. So having STEAM Academy, we've found, because it's so specific, it leaves out all the other amazing things we do at our school. So we have OEAP apprenticeships going on. We have language and culture. We do have the P-Tech, but we have all these other things. We have art programs and media arts that isn't necessarily reflected in STEAM Academy. And then logistically, the name Six Nations Polytechnic STEAM Academy, with two acronyms, SNP and STEAM, it's just quite lengthy, to put it on clothing, advertising, swag, that kind of stuff. It legitimately just takes up quite a bit of space as well. And then the real main thing is that we've found that the name Academy has actually been a deterrent for some students. So amongst our current existing students, we've heard, "Oh, my friends didn't want to come to STEAM Academy because it's just for the smart kids." I do homework support at SNP some evenings, and I even had a student this year who went to McKinnon that said, "Yeah, I didn't want to go to STEAM because I'm too dumb." And I was like, oh no, that messaging that it's only for the smart kids, that's just not the case. We have applied courses and we have academic courses. And PTech actually is the college stream. So, although we do have a lot of very academically inclined students, very talented students, we have students that are going into college, that are going into the trades, that are gifted in all these different ways. That's not necessarily just the university level courses. So, that word academy we've found has really kind of deterred quite a few students from actually applying. So we did a whole bunch of kind of data collection just to hear what other people had to say. So we had a community feedback form that we posted on social media. We gave out at open houses. We gave out when we were just anywhere in the community. And then we had staff and student surveys as well. So I kind of mentioned this early, but one quote from one of our existing students is, I had friends at IL Thomas who didn't apply to STEAM. They thought it was only for the smart kids. Um, there was a question on our survey that said, what would a reason be to not send your child to STEAM? And then someone from the community wrote, they wouldn't send their child to STEAM because they're not interested in STEAM. They're more interested in the trades. And then what a shame, because we have welding apprenticeships. We're right down the hall from the construction program and the machinist. So we actually do have trades. Right now we have a cook program that just started this year. So to have such a kind of specific name, STEAM Academy, we've found is a little bit of a kind of a pigeonhole type situation that doesn't encompass everything we do. Some quotes from the STEAM staff survey, academy sounds too highbrow. What's the demographic we're targeting? If we want it to be open inclusive, then let's call it what it is, a secondary school. And then SNPSS, Six Nations Polytechnic Secondary School, or SNP Secondary School is very simple, straightforward. So instead of having a name that's quite specific, we want to open it up to a generic secondary school, still having ties obviously to SNP because that's who we are, but not necessarily pigeonholing ourselves into just the STEAM and STEM. So we've had meetings with the senior leadership team at SNP, and then we've had meetings with the board. We've had meetings with all the different departments, and this is the name that we've chosen, SNP Secondary School. So we want to keep the crest the same. We want to make sure we have our ties to SNP very clear. We're trying to encourage our students to stay in Six Nations Polytechnic as much as they can, as long as the programs that they want to go to are available. So we're trying to kind of market this really nice, easy pathway from high school into post-secondary. So maintaining a clear tie to Six Nations Polytechnic, having the logo, having the same colors, that's definitely what we're going to keep moving forward. But then we're going to have a nice classic high school acronym of SNPSS, and be able to kind of have, swag and sweaters that we can sell to our students and community members, and kind of make SNPSS or SNP Secondary School a household name. So I kind of mentioned this earlier, but just to make sure that we keep that brand continuity, having the same crest, keeping the branding guidelines the same, we definitely want to make sure that that logo, because SNP has been around in the community for so many years, and it's SNP is a household name. We don't want to lose that connection. We want to be able to have people see the crest and think SNP, oh, secondary school and post-secondary school. And the nice thing is that although our mission will not change, we still are going to focus on mobilizing Indigenous knowledge and supporting student success. We're not pigeonholed into just STEM or STEAM, and we won't have the burden that we've kind of experienced having to kind of explain, that we are a high school, what our school offers. Hopefully soon, Six Nations Polytechnic Secondary School will be a household name that kind of speaks for itself. And we're hoping that SNP Secondary School will be able to secure the name and kind of remain the predominant Six Nations high school option for students that do want to go to high school off reserve, if they're not choosing to go to Gowanio. So we're very fortunate to have, Mohawk and Cayuga language level 1 to 5, offered at our school. We host, monthly socials. We have our Indigenous program facilitator. We definitely have all these amazing cultural and language opportunities at our school. And we've just found that not very many people know about it. And they hear STEAM Academy and they don't necessarily think of culture and language. So we want the Six Nations Polytechnic Secondary School to be the main focus, that we are a regular high school, but we have these amazing kind of unique programs. We do have that P-Tech program where students can take college courses in high school, but we also are focused on Six Nations culture and language, and just regular secondary school programming. So there's a whole lot of stuff that we have to do on our end. Every department kind of has a job, We will have, changing the signage, changing the marketing, updating our social medias. We're very excited about, right now, we're redoing our website. So we've hired a company to help us revamp our website, which will go along perfectly with our kind of name change. IS is going to be really busy changing emails, rerouting websites to the new servers. HR will have to kind of update all our contracts and everything. So there's a lot to do. But we are very excited about the name change. And this is kind of what our timeline has looked like and will look like going forward. So over the summer is when all of this kind of came to fruition with our various meetings with the board and senior leadership team. The fall is where we are now, so presenting to council right at this moment and working with the departments, to implement all the behind the scenes. So Rick Anderson at SNP has a lot of experience with a large scale name change. So he is the one that we're kind of looking to on how to roll this out smoothly and efficiently, and make sure that we do it right the first time. And this is going to be a big name change. Although the physical name is not that different, it's a big event to change a name of a high school. But we're going to do it once and we're going to do it really well and make sure that we kind of become a household name. And then we're hoping that over the winter, we'll work on this website, on the promotional materials, on all the behind the scenes that we're doing right now. And we're going to have a launch in March 2025. So we're going to obviously announce it to our students and the SNP community, as well as hosting a community event for the larger Six Nations community, which will be kind of this big event where we give away swag and we have kind of presenters to talk about it. And if people haven't heard of our school yet, we'll have kind of stations where we can explain all the programs we have and have giveaways and just kind of get the community excited about the name change if they know STEAM Academy, formerly known as. And if they haven't heard of our high school, they'll get to know it for the first time as Six Nations Polytechnic Secondary School. And then post launch, there's a lot to do to make sure that we're promoting the name change, social media campaigns, hosting various events, mini events, having people come to our school, and also hosting events at the Ashwegan campus, which we've done in the past. Conducting community surveys to make sure we've got feedback from our school community and the larger school community, and then eventually fully integrating the new brand into all aspects of the school. So making sure that we have our signs up, our website, kind of all of our partners are aware of it. That's a big one too. So it's a very big task, but we've put a lot of thought into it, a lot of work into it, and we're really excited about the growth of our school, all the new programming that we have to offer, and we think it's a really good time to broaden our name and become a household name and hopefully get more students to come to STEAM. Our recruitment, we've had the most students this year. We have 28 grade 9s this year, and that's our biggest cohort yet. So we're really excited about what's been happening at our school, and we're excited about the name change as well. So SNP Secondary School, or SNPSS, formerly known as Six Nations Polytechnic STEAM Academy.
Okay.
That's the spiel.
Okay. Thank you for the update. And also, good evening, Reva, and welcome. I seen you
Oh,
join.
Reva's here. Great. Sorry, I can't see anything but my presentation.
Okay. Is there any questions or comments? from council? Go ahead, Hazel.
Yes, I know that GREAT also had a STEAM program. Um, Similar, I guess they're both on the same level. With you changing your name, but you'll still be operating the same as that STEAM curriculum, is that right?
Yeah, so we won't actually change anything about the curriculum. So the STEAM program really is our PTech program. So it's that collaborative program with Mohawk College where students at STEAM Academy can take college credits starting in grade 10, and throughout their time in high school they get 6 college credits, and they've actually then completed a full year of Mohawk College, and then after that they go on to Mohawk for their second year of college. So it's one aspect of our school that students can opt into, but it's not the only pathway anymore at STEAM Academy. So we're not changing any curriculum. We're not getting rid of anything. We're just kind of changing the name to open up our high school to all the different programs that we now offer as we grow. So we're not losing that PTech and that tech aspect. It's just not our whole school anymore. And so we don't necessarily just want to pigeonhole into that one pathway.
Thank you.
Hi, Hazel. We will continue to offer other courses and clubs and extracurricular that focuses on science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. We have an e-gaming club that's really, really popular that fits under STEAM. We offer a robotics course, club, and competitive team, so that will be maintained. We offer a sewing course, club, at lunch hour as well, and that fits under the technology and engineering areas. We have an excellent music program, instrumental music, and that still fits under the arts. So we're not throwing STEAM out, baby in the bathwater kind of thing. We're just not naming it STEAM to help with the confusion. So we're not really getting rid of anything. And we're still offering all of the Ministry of Education courses that our school provides now.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Go ahead, Amos.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, how are you designated within the Ministry of Education as a private school?
Yeah, we're designated as a private school.
Okay. And so who services your tuition? ISK, or what's the sources of your tuition?
Our tuition comes from through Jordan's Principal and ISK projects. Yeah.
But ISK
We
doesn't give
also, I
you.
should just add that we are also involved in the RIA agreements with the school boards. So we have 4 different school boards who send students to us. And so kind of the behind the scenes, so it costs nothing to parents. But behind the scenes, and I'm doing that actually right now, is sending documentation to the school boards. They certify that these students are residents in their, say, like Grand Erie District School Board. We also deal with Hamilton Wentworth, we deal with Waterloo Catholic, and we deal with Brant County, Brant, Haldimand, Norfolk as well. And then we have students that come from MCFN, Mississauga Credit First Nation. So kind of behind the scenes, I send all of the documents to the boards and to MCFN, and they confirm that these kids are residents of theirs. And then they submit this to the Ministry of Education, and the ministry sends them the funding, and then the school boards send the funding directly over to us.
So it's like a tuition, reverse tuition agreement.
Yeah, only it's called Reciprocal Education Approach. So it's called RIA with the Ministry of Education, and between them and any First Nations communities.
So what is your annual budget for STEAM?
Well, we're just kind of still working that out, but we're around 4 million.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Helen, do you have a question? Oh, sorry. No, I thought you.
Yeah, one of the concerns I had asked prior to the presentation was, I wondered if naming them having it a secondary school, if it's gonna interfere with the Lifelong Learning Task Force is promoting a secondary school, I think, on the reserve. So do you guys have anything to do with the Lifelong Learning Task Force? You're not.
Yeah, I am a core member, so I attend the meetings when they had them. And I was interviewed by Stephanie Burnham to talk about STEAM and what we already do. And I know she was really, really impressed with what we were doing and the focus on culture, language, um, and how we were marketing our school, like all of that. She was very interested in asking about. So, yeah, we were involved with that. And I think all the best things that we do are the things that, like, that any high school would like to be able to do.
Yep. Yes, go ahead, Amos.
Yeah, I like the idea. So you're able to embed right into your high school program dual credits then, so they can go to Polytech and you're
Yeah.
recognized by that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have only the one dual credit right now with Mohawk College. So that's the P-Tech program, but we are looking into doing additional dual credits.
Yeah, and we do have the two OEAP programs that have just started last year. So we had welding. So we're working with the trades unit of SNP. So four of our high school students all day last year, second semester, took the level one welding. So they've come out of it with a SNP level one welding and 4 co-op credits. And then this year we have the cook program. So Taylor Parker is the chef and teacher of that. So it's not quite dual credit, but they are still able to get Polytech courses through OEAP, which is exciting as well. And they get to stay in the building instead of having to, get bussed around or cabbed around to their different apprenticeships. It happens right on campus.
One of the things that we were hoping to do also, and Reba and I often talk about this, that we were hoping that students graduate from the STEAM program and just turn the bend, turn the corner and go down to trades, or turn the other way and go to college courses, or decide to take the language program, the university courses. That's what we would like to do, because we also know that a high number of our students who and I'm just not saying STEAM students, but Six Nations students, they decide to go off to college or university, and a lot of them come back. A lot of them, it's too far for them, or they miss their families, they miss the community in that. So one of the solutions is to kind of keep them with us, keep them, in programs at SNP. So that is one of our goals too, is to create that pathway that students can comfortably take college courses right with Six Nations Polytechnic.
Okay, I don't see any other questions or comments. So the Six Nations of the Grand River Elected Council accepts the name change presentation for Six Nations Polytechnic STEAM Academy to Six Nations Polytechnic Secondary School to be implemented on March of 2025. Just add as information. Is there a mover? Moved by Dale, second by Melba. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Seen and carried. Okay, thank you for joining us tonight and giving us the update.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Thank you.
Have a great night. Number 6, adoption of general council minutes of October 22nd. If there's no questions, is there a mover or comments? Moved by Cynthia. Oh, question?
I was looking at the attendance.
Can you use your mic?
I was looking at the attendance. I don't think it noted. I think Dean, you were online for that meeting. It just in that one, and the in-camera, it was there, but not on the, first part. It just said away on council business, but you actually, I believe, were online for that meeting? Oh, does it? I stand corrected.
Okay, is there a mover? Moved by Dale, second by Carrie, all in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Number 7, my updates. The 59th elected council has been in the office here for a year now. It was on November 7th. We've been in office. I'm proud of the work that we are doing, both collectively and individually, to support our community members and to advance our broader interests and needs. A printed political update will be mailed to each on reserve household and posted to the social media very soon. Also, Amos was talking about the 1924 display. I did get up there on October 24th. I had the opportunity to check out the Woodland Cultural Center's display on the elected council title 1924. This exhibit will be on display until the end of January. It was well put together and did a great job outlining the history. When I was checking out the new display, there was a class of high school students from Toronto High School on a field trip. I paused to speak with the students and answered any questions that they had, and it was great to see their desire to learn about Six Nations. Attending the meetings in Ottawa, I was in Ottawa for various meetings on October 28th and Tuesday, October 29th. On Monday, I attended the Jade Treaty Border Alliance collaboration on protecting our rights and under the Jade Treaty and to address issues that are unique to the U.S. and Canada border. While in Ottawa, I also met with Larry Brock, MP for Brantford Brant. The purpose of the meeting was to continue talks about Six Nations issues. I also met with Mike Morse, MP of Kitchener Centre. Is very supportive of advancing Six Nations issues any way he can. In fact, one of the 5 priority areas being presented to Canada's financial minister and deputy prime minister is closing the First Nations infrastructure gap. On Wednesday, October 30th, I had a virtual introduction meeting with Ontario Patient Ombudsman, also with Joe Martin, who attended the meeting for support. This was an opportunity to meet and discuss possible connections for Joe to help with community members to discuss issues of concern for Six Nations, the Grand River community members as patients and caregivers when accessing healthcare services. Meeting the Ontario Ministry of Seniors and Accessibility was on October 31st. It was a virtual meeting with Minister Raymond Cho. At the start of the meeting, minister staff informed us that the minister had to be called out to the legislator. So on the call, Deborah Jonathan, the Director of Wellbeing, and her staff, Abby Hill, Wellbeing Liaison Officer, also talked about the seniors' needs, our needs in the community. I have a follow-up meeting. I have followed up with the minister directly to have a meeting with the minister himself. I attended the Survivor Secretary Annual General Meeting on November 5th, and I was presented with a thank you award on behalf of the Six Nations Elected Council for supporting the Survivor Secretariat for 2023 to 2024. The AGM included financial overview, included audit financial statements that were shared. Six Nations Hydro One Working Group, that was on November 6th. The working group is established to address community members' issues and concerns with Hydro One. So if you have any issues or concerns, please contact my office. I had a meeting with Grand Chief Daibo from Ganawage on November 6th. We discussed how we may strengthen the relationship between Ganawage and Six Nations and the issues that we are facing in our communities. Also had a brief meeting on November 6th with Peter Mayo, Regional Indigenous Affairs Advisor for CBSA. Canada Border Service Agency. He was on the territory at a recruit function and wanted to meet and begin the relationship with Six Nations. Peter is our contact for members returning to Canada that experience border crossing issues. And also the grand opening of Costco on November 8th, I attended to do the ribbon cutting ceremony and give welcoming remarks. And seeing the people who are standing in line since 1:30 there. Um, that's my update. Is there a mover to accept his information? Moved by Greg, second by Dean. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Number 8, updates from committees. I have Unity Building, Government and Relations. Greg?
Yeah, thank you, Chief. As you know, we've been streamlining the governance system, and we've changed it a little bit further. We tweaked it a little bit further so we can get streamline some information from different committees. The Justice Committee has joined the Unity Building and Government Relations Committee. And with that amalgamation, there's also some rescheduling, as well as the addition of some of the new counselors that will be on this committee. The chief, she can attend any of the committee meetings, but she has been removed as the chair. And the committee members, the new committee members are previous myself, Cynthia Jameson, Leslie Green, Dean Hill, and Melba Thomas will be the committee members for the new amalgamated committee called the Unity Building and Government Relations and Justice Committee. We had our first meeting on Friday. It was our introduction to justice. It was the meeting was to get an update on what justice has been working on. One of the things too that Tim Bucci has been working on is bail reform. One of the things too is that, as you know, that they try to work through the GLADU process. There are some issues with that, and they are going to work to see if they can also streamline that process so that bail reform works a little bit better, especially for our community and community members. He also is going to be looking at finalizing the environmental bylaw and bylaws so that they can be in an enforceable, I guess, a state that we can put in place. That he will be bringing forth hopefully at the next meeting in December. One of the other things too is during his updates, he did mention that there has been some new hires in the justice system coming from the funding for a Native liaison officer or 2 officers in the Niagara region. The Maplehurst still is missing a Indigenous officer, and they're working on that, as well as he has hired an IVS advocate worker. So there has been some, I guess, movement on fulfilling those positions. One of the other things that he was also talking about is looking at a volunteer person for that's in training that will work in terms of information clinics for law and help our community members in that way. Some of the other issues that we looked at was looking at the recommendations from the Iroquois Caucus concerning a recent harvesting summit that had taken place back in August. A couple of the 2 key recommendations was educating the government and the MNR, the Minister of Natural Resources, on our harvesting rights and responsibilities, as well as how that can help all our Iroquois Caucus members and how we can work together. One of the other things too was educating all of our members on how the harvesting rights will work, and that's still an ongoing process, and that will be relayed to the community members when it is completed. One of the other things too was this new redevelopment project for the Brantford General Hospital. They were asking for a member for both their Brant Community Healthcare Systems. It was called a Reimagine Committee. They're looking for a member for that, and also a Hospital Working Group committee member. Working with the I think we'll be working with Health and Well-being Committee, as well as External Relations Committee, and all working with Justice, as well as our Lands and Resources Committee, because CAP is involved with any redevelopment project, and we're presently working on getting a member to be on those two committees. Um, the last thing was a New Zealand trip from 4 of our representatives in our Lands and Resources. It is a research and archaeological assessment with the New Zealand country, with the Maori as well. And that is actually going to be paid for by the University of Waterloo through their research grant funding. So those are exciting news for our members, and they can bring back some of the land rights and how the archaeological assessments are done in New Zealand. Sorry, I forgot one last one, is the chief mentioned earlier, the federally owned lands that are in Kitchener and the Waterloo regions. There were 6 main areas that were under, I would say, federal land ownership. They seem to be, most of them had Canada Post buildings on them. We did convey all that information over to our Lands and Resources. They're making note of that. They're going to include it in the research and also maybe have that included in our fiduciary land claim case. So that basically sums it up, Chief, for our committee.
Okay, great. Can I have a mover to accept this information? Moved by Hazel, second by Cynthia. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Dale?
Yeah, just my new business. I know it's a little bit late, and I apologize for that. And this is just in follow-up to the Orange Shirt Day. And what I wanted to recognize is the fact that I know it was a very extensive day for the volunteers and staff. I know there was some, we had gone online that day, and I had known some of the sponsors, and the only one I can remember at this point is theirs. They made a contribution. But I know the volunteers there, they put together over 800 bags that was given out to the community that day. But I'd just like to read the list of names of the people that were there as volunteers. We have Hillary Mount Pleasant, James Logan, Ethan Thomas, Bryson Longboat, Tanya Hinhalt, Tina Garlow, Leslie McDougall, Lacey Curley, Veronica Reset, Jacelyn Hill, Amy General, Star Longboat, Chase Longboat, Teresa Mount Pleasant, and Clarissa Mount Pleasant. And then for the staff that were there were Lee Thompson, Summerhill, and Brandy Thomas. And the counselors that were present that night, they're handing out the bags, were Elena Beniri, Carrie Bomberry, and Audrey Paulus Bomberry, and myself. So I just wanted to go on record to recognize primarily all the volunteers and the work that they had put together that day. I know they did the 800 bags, and I know at first they were trying to give 1 bag per vehicle because we weren't sure how many people came up. But at the end there, I know there were more people were volunteering to give handout and deliver bags to their family members. So I just wanted to thank those girls for all their hard work on the Orange Shirt Volunteer Day. Thank you.
Great, thank you for that. Okay, can I have a mover to adjourn the open? So we can go into in camera. Is there a mover? Moved by Carrie, seconder. Second by Hazel. All in favor? Be opposed? See none, carried. Thank you for joining us tonight, and have a great night, everyone.